Why do I feel like a Yeti would say?
You know what I didn't realize when I bought that I bought this bottle of bourbon in Michigan.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was this giant corkscrew oak piece in it.
Yeah.
Looks like a giant fucking swirl turd.
It's a Yeti dick.
It's kind of strange, isn't it? I don't know that I like it.
It's like a barbed cat wiener.
I mean, the whole thing is like, oh, it's supposed to make it more oaky.
I guess.
All right. It's not bad.
Oak needed.
It's not I would say it's not the best. It's definitely not the best I've had, but it's not terrible. Cheers to a Friday.
Cheers to a Friday, bro.
It is. It definitely has a smoky flavor to it. It's been a busy week.
I just,
I want you to talk about your feminism thing.
God damn.
So Chris is deathly afraid that these feminists that he works with listen to podcasts.
Not that they're feminists, but
that they listen to a cigar. He's worried that a group of feminists listen to a male-driven cigar podcast. No offense to the females that listen to us. I love you all, and we're very inclusive. However, I do know that 91% of our audience is male. So he's worried that these feminists who listen to podcasts, they do podcasts. Somehow are going to be listening to this one because Chris has some choice words for these feminists. Chris, and I would love for you to tell the rest of the audience why feminism is bringing you down.
It's not so much like my position ends with a question. Okay?
Okay.
I was in a client meeting.
Yep.
With these very nice ladies, and they are very well. Can't even say that.
Can't call them ladies.
Can't even say that.
Okay, so rule one. Let's establish rule one. We're gonna have. I feel like there's gonna be a subset of rules that are derived from this conversation. Rule one is don't call a lady a lady.
So I was asked not to call them by their sexual orientation, which baffles me. But the thing is, I'm the only guy.
Right.
That's working with them.
You were put on a project that is, I don't want to say predominantly women. It is all women other than yourself.
Correct. And we were getting close to the end of the meeting, and I just said, thanks so much for the meeting, ladies. Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Then I was asked not to say ladies.
Right.
And then this is where my question
right.
to my thesis comes to you guys.
Yeah.
Which is, if I can't call you ladies, which visually you are, what do I call you? Like,
hey, what are you?
What do I call you? So today, I was so beating myself up over it because I had another meeting with him today, and I was told this before the meeting, and I was like, I just really don't want to fuck this up because I want to be respectful, even if I do shit satirically on this show, but I want to be respectful, folks, because I'm not going to act like I do on the show in front of them as a client in a professional setting.
Right. If I acted like this in my real job, I would have been fired a long time ago.
I don't do that. Right. But everything I do is satirical anyways, but if you don't know me and I put on that shit, you're going to be like, I fucking hate you.
Right.
But that said, I was just like so beating myself up over it the whole meeting. I found myself like not engaging.
Right.
And then
you were being remissive.
Yeah. And at the end of the call, which was a Zoom call, it's video, so they're probably watching me like zone out, just like not tuning in. But I was taking a lot of notes too. I'm a good note taker. Anyways, at the end of the call, video conference call, I literally just go, well, have a good weekend, everyone.
It was probably the most appropriate way, in their opinion.
Until next week, I'm going to be like, we are not one, we are many. And I'll be like, fuck. Like, what do I call you?
Right.
So, I don't know. I just beat myself up a little bit about it.
What I thought was, okay, so it's like first world problems.
Yeah.
What I was thinking about, too, was that the first thing that you said to me as you entered my house was this story.
Yeah.
I was shocked that was the first thing that you said.
Could have been anything from this whole week.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shit that's gone down. I mean, yeah.
Could have been
We both have
anything.
busy lives. But I was
Did I almost tell you I was shot yesterday?
No.
Swear to God, with a 22. And I thought this feminist thing was more pressing.
Wait,
than being
what
shot
the
by
fuck are you talking
being
about?
Shot by a 22.
Where at?
The lounge. Weirdly enough.
What?
So, anyways,
What the fuck happened?
Well, okay, I don't know if he was joking. He didn't act like he was joking, but I was like, still just like, he was like, if you're gonna shoot me, you're gonna shoot me. But basically, we were talking, and it was all of us outside, and we're underneath a tent.
Yeah.
And we're talking about sports and like other shit, like scam callers that like rip people off of money. Well, guy starts with an M, ends in Arvin. He has a brother.
Yeah.
His name's Chris, and he doesn't go there very often. But he came there last night, and he sits down, and we're all chit-chatting, and he's talking about, he's like, yeah, I'm an asshole, and we're all like, don't worry about it. Like, it's not a big deal. We're all assholes in some fashion.
Right.
So we're sitting there talking, and then we got on the subject about the big upcoming boxing fight in September.
Tyson.
And
Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones. And then, anyways,
Yeah.
so I'm sitting next to a new guy that I've never met before. His name was like Leron or something like that. Super cool dude, super cut. I was like your muscles, man. That's no gayness.
Definitely something you would say.
I totally said it. And Chris and him,
Yeah.
and he's been quiet the whole night,
Yeah.
get into like a heated competitive debate about who's going to win the fight.
Well, it's clearly Tyson. That's easy to say.
And Chris, he's huge into stats and all this stuff. He's talking about like Tyson's going to be it. And then the guy next to me, I think is Leron, I think something like that. He goes, "No, I think it might be Roy Jones." And they were going back and forth, and like Chris was like, "What do you think, Chris?" And I was like, probably Tyson. And then it went around, and everybody's like Tyson, but he was adamant. The guy sitting next to me is that it could be Roy Jones. And I was like, man, yeah,
it could be anybody. It's a fucking boxing match.
And it's a heavyweight fight.
Yeah, of course, it could be anybody.
If Tyson doesn't take him down in the first few rounds, then it's going to be really a stamina battle.
Right.
Anyway, so Chris stands up, and he is like not irate, but he is just so passionately intense about Tyson's going to win this fucking fight that he throws $80 down in the middle of the table. And you know what my ass did?
Grabbed it.
I grab it in front of 8 other people, and I slowly take it while looking at Chris, and I put it in my back pocket. First time I met him, take his money. Start putting it in my back pocket. He's like, man, don't take my money. Put my money back on the table. I was like, all right. Slowly put it back. He's like, man, I would have shot your ass over that. I was like, you're gonna shoot me for slowly taking your money in a funny way? It's not like I was even trying to get away with it.
Right.
He's like, man, you don't mess with money. $80 to me is a lot of money. I was like, I get that.
Well, you also shouldn't be putting it on the middle of a table over a bet.
And he was like, I could have shot you over that. I was like, what? You're literally gonna shoot me? He's like, yeah. He's like, I would shot you right now. I fucking got a gun on me right now. I was like, what do you got? And he pulls out a 22 and like puts it on the table and like aiming it at me. And I was like,
fuck?
So I was like, you're gonna shoot me with a 22 over $80, and everybody else is looking at me.
Fucking psycho.
Everybody else is looking at me, and I'm laughing. I am literally laughing, and there's a reason for that. One, when I got a little bourbon in me, that 22 ain't gonna scare me.
Yeah.
But he's literally has it on the table facing me, and I'm laughing hysterically, which probably pissed him off.
What was everyone else doing?
They were all just like,
Chris gonna get shot.
Chris gonna get shot. So, like, he finally settled down, and then I told him the Bill Burr joke about the 22. Like, I was like, I get it. He's like, because I think you maybe thought when I laughed that it was a 22 that I was laughing that it was him with a 22. But the reason I was laughing is because the first thing I thought of in my head was the Bill Burr joke.
Yeah.
Where he's talking about, he's like, yeah, people want to carry like big Colt 45s and got them next to their bedstand, and someone breaks in with a fucking scythe, like walking over your bed. He's like, You've got one chance to fire off and hit that motherfucker that's in a dark room in the middle of the night. You're disoriented. He's like, all you're going to hear after you shoot that gun is...
Right.
That was literally what was going through my head when he put down that 22.
Well, also, can we talk about the fact that a guy carried a gun to the cigar lounge?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was he drinking?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Dude, did Gonzo O'Brien know about that?
No.
Dude, that would have been bad.
But yeah.
Because that guy could have been fucked.
Yeah, man. You can't carry that in there. Or show it to me.
Well, you can't drink and also have a firearm on you.
Yeah. And so it was just like a weird, wild experience last night, man. I was like, fuck.
What the fuck?
And you know, it ended cordially as hell. Like, we still continued to talk. And actually, and this is no lie, and this was not a response of fear where it's like someone points a gun at me. It's like, oh, let's not be enemies. Let's be friends.
Right.
Let's be friends. No, this is a misunderstanding.
Right.
It wasn't anything like that. But when he puts his gun back in his pocket, I'm still laughing at him. And he's starting to kind of like liven up a bit.
Yeah.
Because I think he was trying to be hard and just trying to place his stance. He's like, it's two fucking things you don't fuck with. My woman or my money. Which is a very, we'll say a stereotypical response.
You know what's strange? You know what's strange though? This is what. Okay, so like I'm visualizing this in my head.
Yeah.
And the guy's been out of shape because someone touched his money, but he took $80 out of his own pocket and put it on a table for a bet. If there's any time for anyone else to touch your money, it's when you take it out of your pocket and put it on a fucking table.
Yeah. And I did it in a funny way.
Right.
Like I slowly took it. And I'm looking at him straight in the eyes.
I was like, your money's mine.
And I'm
like a
taking
funny
it
thing.
and I literally put it in my pocket.
So my question is, what lessons have you learned out of this? Are you going to fuck with someone's money anymore?
No, I think what I've learned is I'll call out someone who thinks they're too much of a hard ass than they actually are.
Yeah, bourbon induced.
Well, yeah. But it just like I could see he was like a good guy, and I think he was trying to be like
it's
just an ass.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Because after that, like, dude, I was like, dude, I fucking love you. Like, I literally told him, I was like, I love you, and I truly mean it because he's a cool ass dude. But it was just that one instance where it was just like,
yeah,
what the fuck are you? Why are you trying to be a fucking hard ass?
Yeah.
And then I just kept laughing, which probably did not help.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
But I like calling out people sometimes. It doesn't happen very often. Usually I'll be quiet. But I definitely felt like calling out someone last night. And I did it in front of 10 other guys who wanted no part of it.
That's weird.
Yeah, well.
I got a gold tooth.
That's right, you did get
a gold tooth. Yeah. I feel like my stories are just pale in comparison
I got a puppy.
Yeah, I got a fucking puppy and a gold tooth.
Yeah.
That's about it.
It's been an interesting week.
Yeah, sure. That's fucking strange, man. It's probably good. I was gonna go yesterday, but I had to do my inspection at the new place. So we had to be there at like 6:30.
Yeah.
It's probably good that I wasn't. I'll just put it that way.
You would have seen your brother with a lot of balls.
Well, I mean, I commend you for that, but it's also stupid at the same time.
Oh, it's totally stupid.
No, for me, it's like I have no patience for people who are irresponsible with firearms, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, he was.
So if I would have seen someone take a fucking firearm out of their back pocket, it would have been not good.
Yeah.
That's a not pretty thing.
And this was a lounge by which I'm giving no names.
Right. Yeah, of course. Well,
it was in Connecticut.
Isn't their responsibility? I mean, and when people take action, like people do things like that, it's not always like, it's not like it was like, hey, owners, hey, workers.
True.
Taking out my firearm. So, yeah, not.
Yeah.
There's no indictment on the place itself, but just the stupid people that occupy it.
Yeah.
But if it's all good, it's all good. I mean, I guess, you make friends with the guys who have weapons. They're good friends to have, but, also.
I am curious.
Don't shake them enough to fucking pull a firearm on you.
Yeah, we left and we did like the bro handshake hug thing.
That's good.
And he's like, see you later, Chris. I was like, see you, Chris. I was like, I gotta go pick up my kid.
The fucking two Chris's.
But yeah,
So strange.
It was just a little surreal. And like I said, it just when I noticed someone putting on a show,
Yeah, you
that's
call them out.
That's when I start calling out people.
Yeah. Which is fair.
Which is fair. You got to. You gotta fucking humble people.
Well,
you gotta sometimes.
I would also put it this way: anyone who feels it necessary to pull out a firearm over $80 that clearly is a joke has their own. They probably have their own inadequacies that they're dealing with.
For sure.
Not to say he's a bad guy. This could be cool as shit.
I think
maybe listen to this podcast. Maybe hear me talking shit about him. But it's just a stupid move.
I kind of felt like Morgan Freeman in that movie where he rehabilitates that high school, and he's like one of the students.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's like, I'm not trying to do stereotypical.
What
shit.
is that? What is that called? What is that movie? That's a great movie.
But I feel like Morgan Freeman put in a bad situation. I see a kid that is he's just grown up with the wrong experiences, but there's some good in there. You just got to tap into it. But in order to tap into it, you got to meet him at his level.
Right.
And I felt like I did that with this guy.
It would have been real weird if you met him at his level if you took a 22 out of your pocket and put it on the table.
I should have pulled it out. I was like, you know what this is, bitch? This is a 23. They don't make a 23.
Yeah, no, they don't.
They do now, man. Mine's better.
Yeah.
Look at your little 22.
So strange. What a weird night.
It was a pretty weird night.
That's fucking odd. That's definitely odd.
I just slept okay.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's just, you know, like I've been in front of guns before. I've never had one pointed at me, but it really didn't creep me out at all.
Yeah, that's probably not a good thing. I'll be honest.
I was laughing.
I saw someone do that. I take that in a very threatening manner.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
But that's just because I don't know.
Yeah.
I
maybe it's my naivety.
I think
to the danger.
I think it's part of that because you're not as versed in firearms.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you don't understand like
the havoc.
Well, and like the repercussions.
Yeah.
Or what it just means to be a responsible carrier of a firearm, right?
That's true.
Did he pull it out of a pocket?
A pocket.
So here's the reality around that. To have a firearm concealed, it means you have to have a concealed carry license in Ohio, right? So if he's an Ohio citizen, he has a concealed carry license if your firearm is indeed concealed. Now, you can open carry, which means he could have it visible to the public at all time. You don't have to have a license to do that. But to conceal a firearm, you do. So, as a concealed firearm holder, as a licensed someone who has gone through it, he has to have that to do that. But he would also understand that you cannot carry a firearm, especially into another public facility, while also drinking alcohol. Those two things are illegal.
Yeah.
So, it's like bad situation already. There's a reason why you aren't allowed to carry while under the influence because you do stupid shit like put your 22 out on the table.
Yeah, that's true. I think we've all learned something today. Can I look into the lens? Is it that one right there, that camera there?
Yeah.
Or that one over there?
Yeah. I wish
that
I could.
one?
I wonder if I can. Wonder if I can zoom in. That'd be dope if I could. I don't think I can. That'd be sweet if I could just turn it and just zoom right in your face. We don't have a camera operator, so.
I think we've learned some valuable lessons here today.
Yeah.
I think we've learned that don't poke the beehive because you think the bees are too small and can't do damage to you. AKA 22. But also.
Sure. Sure.
But also.
Uh-huh.
This isn't like playing PS4 Call of Duty. You know. And you can run around, show off your guns, and shoot people. I think that it's okay.
It's definitely not that.
Or that it's okay to do so.
Right.
And it wasn't a gun show.
No, it definitely is not a gun show.
No. It was not like, let me see yours.
That's a gun show.
That's a gun show. Show me yours and I'll show you mine. It wasn't even a competition.
Right.
And
it's almost like a passive, stupid threat, but not really threatening.
Yeah. And the other last lesson I've learned is that $80 is potentially worth a life.
Yeah. Don't mess with a man's money. It's like, dude, if your money is your $80 that you're placing on this fucking pathetic bet, which, by the way, he's going to lose, that's just, come on.
Yeah, the other guy, yeah, for sure. Leron or whatever his name is. But yeah, I think $80 is potentially worth a life in this country to some people.
Have we talked about on the show before what value we put on a human life?
We have, and I can't remember.
Wasn't it just over $400,000 or something like that?
Yeah, because we were talking about hitmen. We were talking about like how much would we kill someone
I thought
for?
I remember saying something like around 400,000.
Yeah.
Would be like worth a human life.
Yeah, man.
Like if you were to farm people, I could sell a person to somebody for $400,000.
Yeah, and I think of a lot of other things. Like if I can fish a tuna and it's worth like $300.
Yeah.
Like how much is the meat on a human worth?
I mean, I don't want to eat a human. I would like to have a human to do things. That's slavery.
That is slavery.
Sorry, that's bad.
Yeah.
They weren't paid enough for, though, if we're being honest. That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
I feel like if there's something, well, there wasn't being paid at all, but like I feel like, you know, they talk about, oh God, what was the thing that I was reading on? I think it was on Facebook. Like someone posted an article about like how slavery is still alive in the U.S.
Yeah.
And then like you look at these corporations, and of course you look at it was prisoners working for like certain private businesses and public sectors, and you know, like laugh that a prisoner stamps a license plate. So when I got my license plate, the thing that I was most excited about was some prisoner had to fucking stamp that in and go, oh, I get it. Like, it made me really excited to think that, like, some guy or lady who's serving out a sentence saw this license plate and just went, I hope it brightened their day. Like, that, honestly, to me, is more fulfilling. But it was a thing that was, like, posted about, like, how enslavement actually does still exist in the U.S. in terms of, like, prison work. And if you think about it, it's free labor, and there's a bunch of people that take there. It like listed all these private businesses. One was like a makeup company. Who was it? Was it like L'Oreal or something?
It's like
use prison labor.
It's like a
really business.
Yeah, and it's like a really extreme form of community service where it's like
it's crazy.
Like it tethers
it seems
the line,
really fucked up.
Like it tethers the line of what is a like what's the word I'm looking for? A voluntary thing,
right? Versus
like
forced.
You have to do this shit.
See, that's where I think the ethical boundary is breached. Like, but I know part of it too is like, oh, do you want to take some time off of your sentence?
Yeah, you gotta be a
for
slave.
Good behavior.
You gotta be a slave.
Stamp these plates. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. I don't know. I mean, there's worse things that are happening in prisons, like, you know, people who are still in prison for marijuana use. That's insane. But anyway, I don't want to get on a political topic. But dude, it is like literally all over California, which the irony and the fact that like you could be a state that has recreational marijuana use and purchasing power is nuts. But you've also, back to the 90s, imprisoned so many people for misdemeanor type crimes of marijuana use, not distribution, use, who have spent years and years and years and years and years in prison for use. What the fuck is happening? California's fucked up right now.
It's a plan, man.
There's a whole exodus like about to happen in California, and they're just about to sprinkle all over the earth. Like, keep your feminists. Chris says keep the feminists.
They're good people. It was just an odd thing. It's like, well,
yeah, I know. I get it.
It's like, what do I do? What do you want me to do?
It's so weird because I've never, like, maybe it's kind of strange because it's like they're in a bubble, but even though they're woke, like they're in a bubble, but we're also in a bubble.
Yeah.
Like we just treat, I think where we're at, not only because of upbringing, but just being the Midwest. Like Midwest has its own thing about it, right? And that thing is like respectable, nice, kind, you know, jovial people. There's a manner system that has been embedded into the Midwest, right? You just treat people with respect, and you typically exchange niceties often.
Yeah.
So for me, there's never any ill intent around what I say or call somebody. Like we were saying earlier, I think it would be more offensive, like in the company I work for, I have 2 girls that report to me. And I remember saying one time, like, hey, guys, what's up? I felt in my own, and like, I was like, well, that seems offensive because it's a common thing to say, but I'm addressing 2 women. And I was like, is that good to say that? And they're like, we don't give a fuck. Because they literally like, I don't give a shit what you say.
Because I use guys as a blanket statement if there's both sexes.
Yeah. And most people do.
Yeah.
But I could see that being more offensive than calling a lady a lady. So it's like, what?
That's what I thought.
Where do I say?
That's why I didn't say it.
Do you otherwise say, hi, person with organs and skin and...
Hi, Homo sapiens.
Yeah. What do you say? I don't know. Fuck it. Anyway, cool. So on this episode, we're doing another... We're doing an overrated... Underrated.
Starting with our 22 caliber bullets. Overrated? Or underrated?
22s are severely underrated. And here's why.
I think they could rattle in your brain.
Do you want me to explain to you why?
I heard about the shot in the head.
You're
rattles in.
You're already onto something.
Yeah.
So one of the things about firearms, in particular ammunition, right? You have the size of the bullet, and then you have the grain of the powder. How much powder is all about accelerating the bullet. So you have speed and you have size, right? 22s are so dangerous because there's less grain in such a small bullet, and they're a lot smaller, right? Yeah. So you can get a clean entry and exit wound with, say, like a 9mm, which is my preference, right? Or a 45. Yeah. 45 has knockdown power because it's a thicker bullet, right? But like a 9mm, if you don't hit any vital organs, could go in and out very clean. A 22 is likely to get stuck inside you, lodge inside you, and it will literally ricochet and bounce off of fucking organs, just wreaking fucking havoc in your system. Which, by the way, they're a lot smaller, so they're harder to find when they're in your system. I would argue if you were to stop somebody, if you were approaching me, I would want to hit you with something with knockdown power. I would want to hit you with like a 45 or something of a bigger caliber.
Yeah.
Because I want to stop you in your tracks. A 22 isn't going to stop you, and literally unless I put one right between your fucking forehead, like right in between your eyes. Then you're dead, and like instantly. Or close to, right? But if I hit you in the stomach, you're going to be like, what the fuck? And you're going to keep walking towards me. But if I'm playing the long game, I'm hitting you with that 22 in the stomach. Because at about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, everything inside you is going to be leaking toxins, leaking blood. You're going to have a severe stomach ache. And you're not going to know what the fuck's going on. Because this little tiny 22 is just ricocheted inside your fucking organs.
That's dark.
Yeah. You're going to feel everything else. You'll feel a 22 for sure.
Yeah.
But it is definitely going to wreak more havoc in your system if it gets caught and there's no clean exit wound.
Yeah. That's why I use a machete.
22s are awesome.
Use a machete.
Machetes are great.
You want a
machete.
Clean cut? Right at the head.
Yeah.
Right in the neck.
I like watching those like Aborigine shows where they're like clearing shit.
Oh, yeah.
And they're clearing these giant bamboo shoots that are like 4 inches wide with one strike of a machete.
Machete.
It's crazy to watch that shit.
Dude, yeah.
They're fucking intense.
I saw what my carving blade for meat did to my thumb.
I know.
Can you see that?
Well, you did that, and then I did my 2 fingertips with a sharpened knife.
All I did was tap my blade. I didn't run it across it like I was cutting anything. Right. It was like a tap, like doing a high five with my thumb to the blade. And it fucking sliced the shit out of me.
Yeah, dude, some of those knives, man.
And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
So 22s, severely underrated. Very, very underrated. And plus, they're so concealable, and there's so many rounds you can pull out. Like, the same size gun. I have a profile of a 380. That is very similar to a 22 that I own. And my 380 is, I believe, a single stack. And it only holds 7 plus 1. So 7 rounds in the clip and 1 in the chamber. And my fucking 22 is like 18 rounds.
Oh, shit.
For same size. So I just pop off more, man.
Yeah, man.
22s are fucking awesome. Plus, they're great training. They're perfect for training.
You can learn to squeeze the trigger right.
I have a lot of 22s.
You don't have to worry about too much recoil.
I think I have four 22s. Yeah, I know for a fact I have 4 22s because I have a Ruger, I have a Smith & Wesson, and then I have a Ruger American, which is a 22, and I also have a 22 AR, which I really like. And they just, that's what they sound like. They're great.
Huh.
So fun to shoot.
That's
Anyway.
sweet.
So we are doing an episode, obviously, of Overrated, Underrated, where we're going to take some of the cigar brands, and we're making our way through this list. This would be the 4th iteration of Overrated, Underrated.
3rd, right?
I think it's the 4th. Maybe it is the 3rd.
I think it's a 3rd.
It is the 3rd. So this will be the 3rd iteration of Overrated, Underrated, which I'm just going to say happens to be our most popular episodes.
That's weird, man.
It's so controversial. I've literally had people are like, "Oh, I think blah blah blah." Because you're just missing the mark, and they want to argue with you. And I'm just like, I don't care what your opinion is.
I don't
care. I'm not even gonna listen to you.
Like, I can say what I want. It's the First Amendment.
Oh, you know what?
Where's the second?
First.
Yeah.
Second is right to bear arms.
Right for arms.
Oh God,
to be bears.
I just wanted to read something off of Instagram real quick.
Go for it, man.
So there's a Middle Eastern guy. This is just like why I like fucking with people. Goes, how much for cigar case?
How much for cigar case?
Yeah, it was my Project Carbon cigar case that I have, and I said 26,465 pesos, which is accurate. And he goes. Pesos? Question mark. I go Mexican currency. He goes, okay, too much expensive with this face.
What the hell?
And I go, nah, it's really not that much. So he was like, what's a peso? And maybe my whole thing is like maybe Middle Eastern people don't know what pesos are.
It's very possible.
Yeah, but I feel like also how do you not like why wouldn't you look up what a peso is? I said 26,465 pesos. You think like the first thing I would do is go, "What's a peso?"
Well, how much?
It's only $200.
How much was it? How much was it?
26,465.
Maybe he got it mixed up and he thought you said 24,000 and something pesos. Because if you said pesos and he thought pesos, a thing of queso at your local Mexican restaurant. It's probably like $1.50.
So you know what kind of
$1.50 times 24.
You know what kind of logic I'm gonna push into this
What?
is that you said queso, which is Mexican.
Right.
How would he not know what a peso is if he knows what queso is?
Because he knows what queso is and not a peso.
There's no way someone doesn't know what the other one is.
He's like, no, he doesn't mean peso. He means that white cheese called queso.
Should I keep the exchange going? Because I'm waiting for him to reply.
Yes, keep it going.
I'll see how long I can keep it going.
Keep it going.
Because the last thing I said was, nah, it's really not that much.
And when and then you can use rupees, which is actually a currency from Zelda. It's not even real.
I should just use all kinds of weird currencies and see what he says. Oh, gee. It's like, what? Don't ask. The thing is people ask me stupid questions. I'm going to give you a stupid fucking answer.
That's how I am,
every
man.
time.
I'm the same way.
I was talking about it with Tyler at the lounge. I was like, I get so many people that go, where can I get that cigar? And every time I want to be an asshole and go, fucking Google it. What do you mean, where can you get it? You can get it anywhere. You can literally fucking buy it anywhere.
What they're basically saying is like, can you get it for me?
Well, if that was the case, just say like, hey, do you have these? Are you selling these?
Do you know our grandma?
Yeah.
Storm happens, right?
Right.
She wants to spend the night at your house.
Right.
Does she ask you?
No, she doesn't.
No.
She goes, rain's coming.
She gets you to say it.
Right.
I feel like that's what these fuckers are doing to you.
That seems like a really long. It seems like a long process for everybody.
It's like, well, I didn't recommend it, but if you've got the cigars, I'd love to get one.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, Daddy don't play
They
that
want
game.
you to offer it. They want you to offer it. They don't want to ask it. They want you to offer it.
It says, if someone says, where can I get that cigar? How do you not know that the response from the other person is going to be something like, look it the fuck up?
Yeah, well.
I've never asked anybody, unless it's a brand that I want that I haven't been able to find anywhere. and be like, hey, where's your preferred place to purchase these? Like, where would you recommend me getting some of these? That's a different question.
I don't know. I don't want to make excuses for them, but maybe, just maybe, their government doesn't allow things like Google, Yahoo.
No, the instance of the person asking for, which happened just the other day, was definitely American.
No, well, he's an idiot.
Like, if it was, I remember I had a Russian guy do that one time.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just want to be like, where do you purchase these cigars?
Where do you purchase?
Where did these cigars come from?
I like a
Boris.
good cigar, Boris.
Do you like potato vodka? Could help
I
trade.
like a good cigar dipped in vodka.
Yeah, like in that instance, I'm a little bit looser with my being an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I'm like, yeah, this guy doesn't even fucking speak English. Like, I'm gonna help a bro out. But also, my answer is fucking Google it. But then I just go, hey, honestly, if you just search for it online, probably be the easiest way. But I don't even, do they have a Google in Russia? Russia has their own search engine. What's it called?
I'm sorry, all I have is a Nokia 280, and it has Worm, the game on it.
Snake.
But I don't have access to the internet.
Still have Palm Pilot. Still operating Palm Pilot. Hoping to upgrade to Blueberry soon.
If you're from Northern Asia, I apologize.
Oh, shit. Svetlana.
We tried to start this overrated, underrated nearly 10 minutes ago.
Well, here's the thing. I'm on borrowed time, so we're probably only going to get through a few of these today. So
that's okay.
Let's get into this.
Let's get it. Let's see which brand is going to come up.
You have the updated list, right? Like, you've taken
do.
out the old ones?
Yeah, I took out the old ones.
Okay.
Coming in as our first brand, we have Singer Play Music. Wait. That's
you
not
never
right.
applied to him, did you? You didn't apply the.
Let's see if Singer Playing Music is overrated, underrated.
I like to sing music.
I think playing music is way overrated, but I think singing's underrated. All right, let's try this again.
Well, I do not agree with your take on that.
That's okay. We don't have time to go into it. Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo y Julieta. This one's an easy one for me. I feel like we don't have to spend a lot of time on it. I would say if you're thinking of anything Romeo y Julieta in that you're going to be able to procure in the United States, some of the worst cigars I've ever had.
Tell me when they
objectively terrible.
Tell me when they released a new one.
You know what it's like? I don't know, dude. I don't even know what they do. It's kind of like Cohiba. We've already talked about Cohiba, and we talked about the Cohiba in the sense of what you can obtain that's actually Cuban and what you could obtain that is going to obviously be derived from any sort of Nicaraguan factory or Dominican factory, which I feel like at that point it becomes a branding thing, right? It's Cohiba label, but it is objectively not a traditional Cohiba. So they're typically pretty terrible. That's the same thing with Romeo y Julieta. It's the same thing. It's just anything that's going to be labeled for them, produced specifically for the American market is going to be garbage. And they're all garbage. I can't even tell you the last time I smoked one because it was so fucking horrendous.
It was a really long time ago, and I remember getting it at the market.
Actually, I would even say that even their Cubans are not that great, but continue.
I remember the first Romeo y Juliet was from the market, which was a local shop, and they had just a small batch of them.
Uh-huh.
And I remember they were next to the Punch.
Dude, I don't remember this at all.
And I was like, this is when I was like a new smoker.
Yeah.
So I was like,
so you're probably like, why not?
And I didn't choose them because I was like, why are you naming your cigar off of a fucking Shakespeare play? And then went to the Punch. But I did come back to it and I smoked it. But I was just like, this has like no flavor. And they do have a lot of traditional Connecticut's. Like you'll see them in a lot of traditional Connecticut's.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just felt like it had no fucking flavor.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's the last time I have that one.
I really think, like, if we're talking about American market, Romeo y Julietas, if we're talking about American market stuff, it's the same play. It's the same play with Monte Cristo. It's the same play with Cohiba. It's how do we penetrate the American market with a trade embargo with Cuba? Let's just slap our fucking label on some really subpar fucking cigars and call
just to
them
get our name.
Yeah,
just to get
and that's
our
what
name.
they did. So very overrated. It's weird because there's a lot of people who smoke them.
Yeah.
And then I just look at those people and go, well, you don't know what a good cigar is. So very overrated.
Yeah, and especially for what you're paying for them. For what you're paying for them, dude, I know plenty of $2 to $3 smokes you can get.
Yeah, this highly overrated. That was an easy one.
Yeah, that was an easy one. That's a good
Make
start,
sure you
though.
mark it on the list.
I did. I marked it yellow because I just want to make sure that the next time we do this,
let's not go through the practice.
I don't have to go through the whole episode of a previous one to like say, well, this has already been in there, but we got to make sure that we remove it.
All right, moving on.
Okay. Next brand. Are you ready? How's your day been? That's great. Powstanie.
Oh, so this, it's weird. It's like you put them in there, but I wouldn't necessarily call it like is a brand, but isn't a brand.
It's kind of like a sub brand to Nika Sueños Roma Craft.
Yeah, you know what it's like? It's like if a child is born, right?
Yeah.
This great child is born. But then this child at like 5 years old, they do like a scan on the, like let's just say the kid's in for like a bad stomach ache. They do a CT scan. They see this other thing like in the child's stomach.
Yeah.
And then upon further inspection, they realize that it's its twin.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just teeth and hair and like a partial tongue.
Yeah.
And maybe like a foot with some toes.
Yeah.
That's what Powstanie is to Roma Craft. It's an unborn twin. No, actually, I fucking love their cigars.
I do too.
I really, really, really enjoy it. And I like Mike a lot. I dig what the brand represents. Like, I like the connectedness. Mostly
Polish,
because
bro.
of us, it's Polish.
Man.
So for us, that's really cool because, I mean, hey, that's where we came from. That's where our DNA is from.
And we all know it. It's a Polish sandwich called a Powstanie.
Yeah, Powstanie. I feel like we've had that conversation
We
before,
totally have
too.
had that conversation. I'm feeling some deja vu.
It's because we did it on Boutique Week.
We did.
But as a brand, I really dig it. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's not pushed and represented the same way. I feel it's like Mike has this thing and he works on it, but it's not like all things, everything to him all the time.
It kind of feels like a more reputable house brand cigar.
And also kind of like a fun, like, it's like a fun project almost. You know what I mean? Like, hey, my whole world isn't based on the success of this thing, but I really wanted to do it, so I did it.
But I will say this, from a distinction of a house blended cigar.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of house blended cigars just
Yeah.
to try it, and they're like, they're like $5, $6.
Yeah, I love when people do
Smoke
that.
it. Yeah. Tastes like shit.
Yeah.
The thing
Every time they're garbage.
Mike did it right though.
Yeah.
Like he went with a manufacturer.
Oh yeah.
And a farm that produces fucking good ass shit. And there's not many that I can say do that other outside of like Del Tessin, who does the Viva La Vida.
Artisano Del Taco.
Yeah, Del Taco. Outside of them, they're the only ones like that I felt like had a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Created a product.
Right.
That came from them.
Right.
That is like what I would truly consider a house blended cigar.
Yeah.
But like on a premium scale, like they did it right. They went with the right farms. They went with the right manufacturers.
Right.
But there's so few of them. But I feel like they fucking nailed it with Powstanie, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Nailed it.
I so like even that Habano first of all.
Habano
is
amazing.
Fucking incredible. I love that cigar. I would argue this point. I think if you're talking all things Nika Sueño, that Habano for me personally is like close to the top of the list of the Roma Craft stuff
there,
the Nika Sueño stuff I like. I mean, it is in like the top 3 probably for me.
What was that other one?
It is so goddamn good. The SBC 18.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And then they have War Bear, I think, out.
Yeah. Or
gonna be out, or supposed to be out, or is already out and haven't smoked one. I'm not really sure. But there's I did the cigars themselves are awesome, but it seems like a fun project. Like which is fucking dope as shit, honestly, when you think about it. It's like Mike's got other shit going on. That's fucking awesome, dude. If you can derive any success from like bringing out some good stuff and not like having to worry about your livelihood around it, cool as shit. I would honestly say, for me personally,
I think it's underrated.
Definitely underrated.
Just from the standpoint, it has the cojones.
Yeah.
The cojones, which are fucking a pair of testicles, not tallywags from last week, but fucking cojones. Right. You know, Spanish for fucking balls. You know, It's got the balls to hang with a lot of the premium brands.
Oh God, yeah.
That have a very good reach in the U.S. market.
I think it would be cool because there is such an attachment to Nico Sueño and just the Romacraft brand overall. I mean, honestly, if you look at the cigar unbanded, you'd be like, yeah, that's our Romacraft.
Totally.
I mean, they just fucking look. I mean, that's the look, right? But I would say if you were to able to continue that brand on and produce more, be thoughtful around the blending process, like it could be its own very successful brand.
I think
Nico
so
Sueño.
too, man. I really do.
I love the cigars. They're fucking phenomenal. Definitely underrated.
Underrated. Next one. So, how's your mama?
I don't know,
Good?
but I'm trying to.
Oh, I'm good. Glad to hear it. BLTC, Black. BLTC.
Black Label Trading Company.
Black Label Trading. You fucked me up with the company part. I was like, wait, this is not reading right in my acronyms.
Oh, this is a good one.
This is a good one.
This is a good one, except for look at this. So anyone who's like watching, they're looking at me like trying to click the camera, and it's like wanting to say, "Hey, what's up?" but it's not wanting to do anything.
Yeah.
So
what's it doing?
I think I'm gonna reset the camera real quick.
Yeah, do that.
It's not wanting to reset.
We'll take a small break.
We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back at you guys in just a second. Hang tight.
Welcome back to episode 3 of the Overrated, Underrated 2020 show.
You know this is our episode 160.
Hosted by the Hot. It is?
Yeah, 160.
160. Let's think of a number
That's crazy.
That has a correlation to our lives as 160. What has happened in our lives that we could say 160 made an impact on our lives?
I would say I've probably taken 160 shits in the past 40 days.
That's very possible.
That's 4 shits a day. That's probably pretty accurate.
Yeah. I spent $160 on a diaper pail and like some like baby shit.
I've probably had 160 milliliters of bourbon in the past 2 months.
I believe that. Same. Same. Ooh, 160.
There was roughly 160 people that died on that that plane crash that went over like Ghana.
Oh shit, that's true. That is very true. God rest him. Well, whatever your divination is, rest in peace.
Yeah. That's about it, though. Really.
I'm almost confident I got 160 moles and freckles on my body, like or on my chest.
Yeah.
Like my back looks like the fucking night sky, and like inverted.
Connect the dots on your
but
back.
inverted.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
All right.
Blackworks Trading Company.
Black Label Trading Company.
Label.
It's Blackworks Studio. Get it right. Same company.
Yeah.
This is kind of a strange one for me. One of the things I don't like about the organization is I feel like the owner, like he just doesn't do anything. He makes cigars, but like he's not. And I'm not saying like this is a bash or anything. I think his name is James. He's like not on social media. Like he is, but he just like fucking posts pictures of his Nike Air Jordans, which is like, give it a fucking rest. No one cares. But besides that fact is like, I think sometimes, and I know guys don't like to do it, like some people just like to produce, but they don't like to be a face.
Sure.
Which I kind of get. But if you own an organization, one of which is as popular as Black Label Trading Company in terms of cigars, like you have to have some sort of representation from a marketing perspective that like is you, right? And your connectedness. And he's just kind of like not there. He's like the Wizard of Oz. He's kind of like Kyle Gillis in a way from Warped.
I knew you were going to say that.
But like probably less douchey.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I do know if I have the brand right.
I hope you do.
What's interesting is you'll see them use a lot of Pennsylvanian tobacco.
So the Boondocks, right?
Boondocks.
So Boondocks. You have Deliverance. You have Lawless. Like they're you have Porcelain. They have some good fucking cigars. They're heavy cigars.
Yeah, they're probably like one brand in my head that sticks out that has like a traditional roots to U.S. tobacco. When I think
they do, so they use. You have Pennsylvania that was used very heavily in Boondocks. They use a lot of Connecticut broadleaf. One of the things that I like about Black Label Trading Company is they have the Porcelain, which is arguably one of the only Connecticut's that I truly enjoy. There's like maybe 4, and the Porcelain's definitely like at the top of the list for me in terms of like traditional Connecticut shades. Fucking great cigar. And I think it's because I like their Nicaraguan blends. They're bold, they're in your face, they're heavy, they've got the spice component, but they're just so flavorful. I love the Deliverance, and dude, the construction on their cigars, they're usually super like if they're using that broadleaf, it's like super fucking toothy. It's real rich, it's thick. Like it actually kind of reminds me of Romocraft in a sense in terms of like the construction of the cigar. Flavors are different, although I would say there's a lot of similarities too. But their cigars are so well made. I love the Boondock cigar. I love what they do at Blackwork Studio. They also have like the Emilio stuff that they put out, which I just smoked an Emilio cigar the other day. And it was actually pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was good. I really like them. They're like, it's kind of like a weird hidden gem. Like if you aren't really ingrained in the cigar community, you're not going to know about Black Label Trading Company. But if you are, you probably have already had one of their cigars. And if you've had one of the cigars, there's probably one or a few that you really enjoy.
Yeah.
I would say, honestly, because they are pretty good, I would say kind of slightly underrated. Although I just think the owner could do more.
Yeah.
In terms of just exposing the brand, because I think it's a good brand. It's not anything like my bash or criticism's not like, oh, you're a fucking douche. It's more along the lines of like, you make really good fucking cigars. And I think more people would want to see them on the shelves, like represent your brand better because it's good shit.
And you'll see a lot of Robustos and Toros from them.
Yeah, that's some goofy Vitolas too.
And they're all around $9 to $10.
Yeah.
It's really not a bad price point for what you're getting. I will say that Pennsylvania tobacco, while I do commend someone who uses a heavy amount of U.S. tobacco, at least from a general facade perspective compared to all the brands that we've ever had. Pennsylvanian is a very polarizing tobacco, I think, for a lot of cigar smokers. Because it's super strong in a spice component and it has a very strong bitterness to it.
Yeah, but you know what I like about this brand and their utilization of tobaccos like that? It's kind of like this isn't going to be for you.
Yeah,
and I like that.
So you kind of like find a niche.
They have their own lane.
Yeah.
And they're driving hard in that lane. I actually like that. The more that I talk about it, it's like more that I like the brand.
I think we've always talked about overrated and underrated. I think they're tethering that line in between both.
I agree. That's why I said slightly underrated. Because I think they're almost appropriate. I would just like to see them do more. And I don't say more in terms of the cigars themselves. Yeah. They have great releases. They do a lot with Amelia. They do a lot under the Blackwork Studio stuff. I mean, they're releasing shit pretty much constantly all the time. And I think they're now with, what's that other brand? Starts with a D. Fuck. I'm going to forget the goddamn name of it. I'm pretty sure Blackwork Studio or Black Label Trading Company is doing their stuff too. Out of his name's James Brown, by the way.
Oh, James Brown.
Yep. I feel good. Yeah. So, God, what is that? Distemperment? Distemper? Is that what dogs get? What is? Fuck, I forget the name. Anyway, I would say slightly underrated, if not appropriate for the industry. Just do a little bit more.
I would think so too.
Because it's good shit. They produce good stuff.
It is, and the Boondocks is like.
By the way, their branding, dope as shit.
Their branding's great.
I fucking love the branding. So great. The more that I talk about, the more that I like them.
We got another one or two.
Let's do one more. One more? Yeah.
I think we're only at 4.
Well, it depends what the next one is. Yeah, we are. But I don't want to get through the list too fast because once it's over, it's over. You can't go back through the list again.
That's true. What's it going to be?
Yasum Kral.
Yasum Kral.
Ugh.
Why is this not ringing a bell with me right now?
Because you're stupid and you don't know as much as most people. No, I'm kidding. Yasum Kral had the Red Knight.
Oh, yep. No,
Yasum Kral also was the first cigar company to bring out a CBD-infused cigar, which was called the Nugs. Yasum Kral has...
The Red Knight was not that great.
This is a weird one for me, and here's why.
It was like an 88.
Like I almost commend the CBD thing. They had the toothpick. I've smoked a lot of this dude's cigars.
I have.
He's like Macedonian or some shit. Like real like.
I have had more. Yeah, okay.
I just don't. Honestly, I don't find the cigars to be that good.
I don't either, really.
Like, there's a lot of hype around the brand, and again, that I know that he did the Nugs, which is the CBD infused stuff, and I greatly appreciate the fact that someone is exploring new avenues in tobacco. Even with like a CBD infusion, I think one is like 20 milligrams and the other one's 100 milligrams. I think in the Nug.
Really?
I personally haven't had them. I've been to a shop that carried them, and I didn't want to pay for them because they were like $20 a piece. And I'm like, this is just. I have CBD at home. I've got THC at home. What up? I just don't need to spend $20 on a CBD infused cigar.
I don't either.
I don't need pain relief or
by smoking a
like
cigar.
A calming, cool, relax. I'm already relaxed.
Well,
cigar.
Here's what's contradictory about the whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
cigars are an inflammatory,
right?
CBD is an inflammatory.
If it burns at a certain temperature, CBD will be released.
I just feel like it's contradictory to the idea of dealing with inflammation.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like it's like a, yeah, that's I guess. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like in the fact that like tobacco would cause inflammation,
where CBD addresses inflammation.
Well, then it just equals out.
Maybe.
I thought you were. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about inhalant. I misunderstood. I misheard what you were saying.
It just seems contradictory to the fact of us, I guess. Of
yeah,
like what you're addressing.
I don't know. I just like my whole thing is like his cigars to me have seemed relatively underwhelming. I haven't gone on board yet. Like the verdict is out. Like part of me is like I'm not interested in the Nugs. I thought the Red Knight was okay. I didn't think it was great. Toothpicks, I think I actually may have done a review on that.
You've done the toothpick?
And I think I fucking like ran into the dirt.
We've done the Red Knight back in the day.
Right. Well, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on the brand. I think it's too loose. I don't know. I don't think there's enough there personally. I think it's just kind of like I do this thing and let's see how it goes. In the plus side of the ledger, I appreciate the creativity around the Nug stuff, which is the CBD infusion. And the only reason I say that is because, like, my personal belief is, like, that doesn't have anything, in my opinion, that doesn't have a place in cigars. However, it opens up the idea for new things. So I appreciate the creativity and the innovation just because now it gets people thinking, like, well, what else can we do with cigars?
Yeah.
If not this thing. So I appreciate it, but I'm just not sold yet. I would say overrated, personally.
I think slightly overrated, too.
Just not a huge fan. They're just the cigars objectively, to me, are just not good.
If I remember the price point, like toothpick is $8.
Yeah, they're pretty inexpensive. They're just not.
They're not very
great. They just to me they just don't hit the mark. Let's do one more.
Yeah,
we're at about an hour, so let's do one. Let's kill another one off.
Let's
not end on Yasum Kral.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Fuck's sakes! I mean,
this should have been the start to the next one.
I know. Last week or last episode of this, we ended with Warp. Today, folks, you get Crown Heads. Wow.
All right, we really got to get through this though, because I have shit I got to do.
John may cancel his delivery to us.
yeah.
Depending on what we say.
He texts us and he's like, "You got shit on the way." So here, okay, I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible. We have a personal connection to Crown Heads in terms of the people who work there and associate with, and that is obviously John, Huber, and Miguel. So we have a very level. Yeah, we have a good friendship with them. Love those guys to death. So there's that bias that exists. Here's the other thing, and I'm going to relate this specifically to 2020,
Sure.
where we are at currently today. Who else? I'm going to ask one question. I'm asking you, and I'm also asking the audience. So, audience, think about this question, and Chris, you think about this question too. Who else in cigars at this particular point in time has put out what Crown Heads put out in 2020? Meaningful cigars. Name a person.
No.
Name one company.
No one really.
Literally nobody. Crown Heads continues to have cigars released. You have the Mil DS. You have other iterations of
my
Juarez.
father put out some stuff,
but few and far between. Like
Yeah.
you have the new Lost Cal. Like nothing has stopped. Nothing has hindered the progress in 2020 for Crown Heads to continue pushing good product on the market. Here's what I like, and I'm saying 2020 specifically because I think the 2020 Calaveras is probably the best one that has come out in recent years. And I love the 19. I think the 19 was a little polarizing for people. I think for the most part, people didn't like the 2018. I personally didn't like. I thought the 2017 was
I like the 18. It's like a wild animal.
up until you liked it. Up until the 19 and 20, I thought the 17 was the best. 2020 hits, killer. Mil Diaz, fucking killer. You have new Mule Kick, killer. You have the Kappa, killer. You've all this shit that Crown Heads continues to release that's just fucking one goddamn banger after another. No one else is doing it.
I'm going to be real with you. If you look at all the lineups of exclusive yearly releases and then even regular production Crown Head cigars, 9 out of 10 of them, and this is just my general rough statistic, 9 out of 10 of the cigars that they release are great.
Yeah.
There is only a few where I go, no, not for me.
Right.
That's not me. Don't feel like it was that great. But 9 out of 10, I swear to you,
just bangers,
are just great fucking cigars.
One after another. Just like it's a puppy mill for good cigars.
It really is. It's like, I don't know. Like every year I'm intrigued by the next rounds or revisions to each individual blend that constantly changes, which I think is a smart thing anyway.
It's legitimately one of the only brands where I get like giddy about what's coming out next. Where it's like I have to have this next thing. Like when Mil DS came out, I was like, I need to smoke this cigar.
Yeah, and it was great.
And with the new Las Calaveras, I was like, I have to smoke this. Like there's an anticipation and buildup, but it's not one that is hyped by the brand itself. It's not one that's just particularly hyped by Crown Heads. It's just you know what you're gonna get, and you know what it carries with it when it comes out.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like, it's the reputation is reason enough for me to get excited about those releases. And in 2020, they're one of the only fucking brands still releasing shit.
Yeah.
The only other brand I think I get hyped, I don't even want to say it's not to the same level, but that I get really excited about when something new comes out is, I would say Foundation is one, and I would say the other would be like anything from Saka. Those are like the two where I'm like, when a new thing comes out, I'm like, I fucking have to have it.
Yeah, I just want to take you back, like, through a little history tour where, like, my first introduction into Crown Heads was the Jericho Hill Willie Lee.
Right.
Toro, right?
Right. Is the Willie Lee the Toro?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
and
the OBS
is
the
Robusto.
Right.
And the Willie Lee blew my socks off because I literally went from smoking a fucking mint Java from Drew Estate.
And maybe like some select CAOs.
And CAO Americas.
Right.
And like Bogotas.
Right. Which is a good cigar, by the way.
To a fucking Willie Lee.
Right.
And the Jericho Hill was my first introduction to the brand. And then I tried the Luminosa. That's actually one I don't really care for too much.
Right.
But then we had like, oh man, you had like the Yellow Rose, the Tennessee Waltz.
Right.
We got
we
got to be part of the Buckeye Land.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then all of the fucking Los Calaveras, starting back from when I started, which I know the 2014 has been crowned like the best one. But dude, that's why you got the La Imperiosa, you motherfuckers. But anyways,
right.
You've got all the lineups of all the various iterations of the Los Calaveras, which even if you didn't like one particular one in the year, they were always
You
still
had
good,
so
though.
Right.
They were never like something that was like, that's garbage.
Yeah,
like
complete
they were still
garbage.
good because all you were doing was comparing the year after year after year of each Los Calaveras.
Right.
Just trying to find which one's better, but they were all good
Right.
in their own right.
Yeah.
I've so many times, like in the fucking mule kick, like that motherfucker with the 4 kicks is fucking unreal.
2018 Mule Kick is in my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
I almost smoked one the other day, and I was like, I don't have that many left.
Even the 2019, I was like, man,
Oh, 2019 is fucking
great.
incredible.
And there's been like hidden gems where you don't really see them, like the Black Lab, which was like the oh shit, what was it?
Headley Grange.
Headley Grange.
Right.
That fucking thing was so under the radar.
Right. Tons that are under the radar. I think sometimes it's like if I have one criticism, which is not even like a criticism, it's like sometimes one release tramples the other.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hold on, you've put out 4 bangers in like the past 4 months. Like they all need their own time. Court Reserve was the first instance to me. To me, that cigar, and I've talked about it with other people, is like the real Crown Heads hidden gem. And when it came out, there was all these other big releases around it. So like the Court Reserve kind of got just like trampled over a little bit and just like in the middle of it. And I don't think it got the attention that it deserved because to me, it's probably arguably one of the best Crown Heads releases is the Court Reserve. It's like so much good shit.
Dude, and if you haven't had a Crown Heads yet, if there's anyone that I could probably point you to, which is a good entry if you can get your hands on it, the La Carême band.
Like, oh, yeah. Good luck at this point.
Get any one of those.
That Connecticut broadleaf is
Connecticut
impossible to find.
Yeah, but the 2019 La Carême Bellicoso was definitively
one of the best cigars I've ever had.
A huge staple for the brand.
Dude,
huge staple.
There is way more good than there is bad when it comes to Crown Heads. I don't know that I could say it anymore in terms of like just from the cigars. If I didn't know John and I didn't know Miguel and I didn't know the guys at Crown Heads, just for the cigars alone, I would say they're probably one of the best brands that has ever existed in cigars, in my opinion, for what I like. And palatability, to me, it's like one cigar is always different from the other, but they're all fucking good.
And we are super hard on John.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be real with you.
I would say there's times where it's like I can feel the disappointment.
Well, but like he you know the thing is he entrusts us with our own.
But we're at a level of friendship where you can be. I think sometimes there is a sense of comfort in saying like, this wasn't your best effort.
Yeah.
Without feeling, I mean, there could be disappointment, but there's no repercussion.
No.
It's just like, fuck, like, okay, yeah, maybe we missed, or like, sorry, you know, it sucks. I was hoping you guys would like this type thing.
Yeah.
They're not all 100. They're not all, but I would say definitively though, more often than not, like just fucking killing it.
90 plus.
Better than anybody else on the market. Hands down, like. I would say probably one of the most underrated brands because I know there's like this weird void in terms of Crown Heads in certain middle parts of the country. Like I travel all over the Midwest, and there's B&Ms that I'm into that I've like never even heard of them, and I go, what the fuck? What do you mean you haven't heard of them? And I'm not saying that's like an indictment on anybody at all. It's just like I'm shocked because they're so good. It's like how is the reputation not preceding them?
Yeah.
Because the shit is just that fucking... And honestly, as the years have gone on, they've just gotten better and better. Definitively underrated. Like, I'm not... Just no second guessing that.
Yeah.
Should be one of the biggest brands in the country, in my opinion.
It should be. It really should be. It's really just supply and demand at that point. Like...
Yeah, but also get your hands on that Connecticut broadleaf because we're looking for a 2020 Bellicoso La Creme.
Dude, man. But
make that happen.
I think, in my personal opinion... If you've ever gotten your hands on a Crown Heads, you honestly won't be disappointed.
It'd be tough.
It would be really tough.
And if you are, you just pick the wrong one. Just try another one.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's like, I'm going to just say it's like it's an underrated brand. Because I truly think that they compete with all the top-rated brands that I've ever seen pop into like cigar aficionados
like
top 25.
Very, very well. Very well.
Yeah, like it's just like, it really just comes down to dollars and how many B&Ms you're at. But, like, at that point, you just have to consider is like, well, what is Crown Heads capable of from a distribution standpoint based on how much tobacco they can get their hands on?
Right. Yeah, it's just a difference in, like, how everything gets produced and sent out. But it's like, there's no doubt about it. I think the 2020 Los Calaveras is a pretty good example in terms of like, what did it sell out like to B&M's in 2 hours? Yeah. It was like they literally had everything that they were bringing in was fulfilled essentially to B&M's across the country in 2 hours. Yep. Like it's just indicative of the brand and who runs it and who operates it. And I don't want to undersell. We talk about John a lot, who we have a personal relationship with, but you have Mike Condor as well, who is another fucking mastermind behind the Crown Heads brand overall. A little bit more hidden in terms of like social presence,
for sure,
but just fucking kills it day in and day out. Like you have two powerhouse guys that have just produced some of the best stuff that has been released on the market, and where other people aren't releasing anything right now, they've powered through this COVID-19 epidemic and just keep fucking pumping shit out. And they're so goddamn good. That fucking Mil Diaz is absolutely phenomenal. First really one good. From the Pichardo factory for Crown Heads, other than the Juarez, but I'm going to say like actually making the connection to the factory now, obviously Mil Diaz. So great stuff. I love it. Dude. I think it was a great one to end on, by the way.
I do too.
Glad it popped up. Yeah. Let's end the episode.
Yeah.
This is episode 160.
160.
Which is crazy to think about. We were supposed to have an interview on this episode. I don't want to get into that. People getting put in timeout. That's all I'm going to say.
You're in timeout.
People are in timeout. But I know we will have an interview next week. Have one lined up. But cheers to a Friday. I feel better. I haven't eaten, so this bourbon's really getting to me. I got to go take the puppy to like an outdoor like drinking facility. Trying to socialize him. Little puggers. Oh, gotcha. Isn't he not adorable?
He's adorable.
His name's Quincy. He's a silver pug. Yeah. So he's a little bit unique in terms of color. But he is just the sweetest baby on earth.
Yeah, he's cute.
All right, so we'll be back at you next week with episode 161. Cheers to a wonderful fire. Let's cheers again. I like the clink of the glass. Bing.
Let's not die.
Let's not die. No 22 shot. No shot wounds.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Let's be smart about the things we say to strangers.
Yeah. Let's not steal their money either.
Yeah, I didn't steal it, but I took it.
Lesson learned.
I took it for a moment.
That's true.
I borrowed it.
That's true. Borrowed momentarily. All right, we'll see you guys next week with episode 161. Adios.